President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived at Eskom's Tutuka power station today in Thuthukani in Mpumalanga. He is flanked by some cabinet ministers, including the Eskom CEO. This as South Africans continue to endure rolling blackouts. Yesterday, the president announced that creating a second state-owned power utility will help end the energy crisis. Our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, is in Mpumalanga at the moment ahead of Ramaphosa's site visit. Thank you very much once again for joining us, Pule. We saw earlier visuals of the president arriving at the power station and making his way into the building to have those all-important conversations around South Africa's power crisis. What's key here is going to be how they're going to navigate a discussion around an Eskom 2.0. I, for one, am very keen to see how exactly this particular issue will be ventilated.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this follows the president's remarks just yesterday during a break when the SACP conference was taking place, in which he said that there needed to be another utility, a power utility, which would be competitive to Eskom as well, because Eskom, being alone, running a monopoly, runs the risk of not actually being able to bring in the capacity to generate electricity as well. And he did say, and I quote, said, Eskom has been operating as a monopoly for over 100 years, and having one company taking up the role of providing energy to the entire country poses a risk. That's according to the president as well. But most importantly, he believes that the ANC also is confident with this idea, and they're backing him up forward as well strongly. But it will be quite important to hear what are some of the discussions that are being, had in this room just here, where we do understand that the president, as well as a delegation of ministers, and of course the Eskom leadership, is currently in talks, and perhaps maybe regarding what has been going on throughout the country with the energy crisis that we've been facing. Stage 6 load shedding has been, of course, at the core of everything, not only affecting people, ordinarily people, but also impacting the economy as well, which is quite bad. And I think one must also look at the track record of Tutuka Power Station as well. It has been described as one of the worst performing power stations in the country. Rafua, it's been riddled by a lot of challenges, which include sabotage and, of course, corruption as well. So it will be quite important to see what this oversight will be about. As you can see, I'm geared up, and we'll be following the president soon as he goes on that oversight tour to see what are some of the solutions and talks that are coming out from that boardroom meeting currently taking place right now.
Yeah, you've just mentioned some of the issues that plague the utility in terms of resources and infrastructure damages that have happened. What do you understand broadly about Tutuka Power Station and the role that it's played in providing or not electricity in South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, it plays a role in terms of, contributing energy to the grid as well. I mean, just 2 months ago as the NCA, we did you'd remember that exclusive story regarding the type of sabotage that was going on here, according to reports about burst traces, which was released, which was, of course, commissioned by Eskom as well. So there was also some sort of challenges regarding, if I'm not mistaken, petrol fuel, which went missing as well. So those are the kinds of challenges that the Eskom here has been facing, and the management has come out to say that they're trying and working tirelessly to ensure that they can resolve these issues. Coupled with that, the Eskom CEO, Andre de Ruyter, has also come on board to admit himself that the power utility, being Tutuka as well, is challenged by a lot of issues which they need to look into. But I mean, there's quite a lot of things that we need to see. The Minister of State-Owned Enterprises being here as well. Did you remember? He also said that what contributed to load shedding was the strike by some of the workers as well at these power utilities. That strike has now come to an end, and we're still experiencing load shedding. You'd remember just around April as well, the Eskom leadership had said that we will experience just about 101 days of load shedding. So it goes to show that this was a planned outage program, and it also is coupled by what Eskom has been facing, Rafua. Some of the challenges it's facing, like you've mentioned, which includes infrastructure, which includes, amongst other issues, and hopefully that boardroom meeting currently taking place where the president is in will have solutions that may yield results, but also will give us answers as to this Eskom 2.0 that's been spoken about, which may be a competitive brother or sister to the current power utility being Eskom.
Pule Letshwiti-Jones, thank you very much for that update. Obviously, just before I let you go, actually, do you know if the President and the Eskom executives will come out and perhaps furnish us with some of the details of that closed meeting in the form of a press conference later?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that, but you can just see it's just some of his security personals here who are waiting for him. We're definitely hoping that after the tour with the delegation of ministers and the president and, of course, the Eskom leadership, will be finished with some of those comments and maybe outlook as to what the meeting was about, and hopefully we may get responses to what is the way forward. We're hoping this time around that we'll be given that opportunity, particularly around that issue of Eskom 2.0 and what are some of the issues. There have been remarks made by the Minister of Energy as well, Gwede Mantashe, who is ruling out the involvement of the private sector and also saying that there can be other amicable solutions that can alleviate load shedding, but we don't know what are those yet. So it's still quite a grey line and blurry messages we're getting from government, and hopefully this time around we can get this sort of solution. And the minister having said that he will make announcements soon as to what are some of those plans that will speak to the challenges of Eskom.
Thank you very much, Pule Letshwiti-Jones in Mpumalanga, really just following the developments around the President's visit at that power station.